Hey guys, how's it going? So a couple of exciting things for today. The first one, which is the most exciting, is that Pedro and his crew are here today laying the flagstones for the pathway, between the Hartley and the house. Now they've already prepped the whole area. They hand dug that whole pathway out, and it's not like a super short pathway. It was a lot of hard work, and they laid conduit under it in a couple of different spots. They put down the couple of layers. There's like a layer of road mix and then another layer of smaller gravel, and they're screeding it right now, like making it very level, and then they're going to start in on the stones. So I'd like to show you that whole progression. They just do things in the perfect increments of time. Like, they get it done very quickly, but they leave you with a couple days between when they have the area completely like prepped and ready for stones and when they actually lay the stones. That way you have a day or two to kind of live with the shape of it. You can kind of see the rough outline of the shape, and then you can make any adjustments. And they're really great about letting us know whenever they get to like a curve. They'll have us come look at it and make sure if we want to move it 6 inches from one way or to the other. They make sure that we really like the way it looks. So it's just such a fun process. And the second thing, which I think is exciting, is that we're going to be working in the raised beds today, basically just clearing them out. And we do have, this week is nice, like it's going to get into the mid 70s. We could probably eke out a little bit more production out of like the cucumber vine that I'm going to be pulling today, but we've harvested so much off of these plants in here, and I need to get them ready for garlic and things like that, that I'm ready to get them pulled. And it's been cold enough to where the tomatoes have that weird, they get that weird flavor after it's been cold. That's what they have. So it's going to seem a little bit like a shame that I'm pulling stuff out, but like, look at that monster tomato. It's like a huge tree back there. And the cucumbers, they are showing some, possibly even like some spider mite damage. I have to get in there, and I will harvest some good ones that are still in there. And then anything that's bigger will go to the chickens, and then all the vines and some of the produce will go to Bethany's pigs. So it's all good. But I can't believe this. What are we, October 2nd, 3rd today? Look at these containers. Like, what? They look like they're right in the middle of summer. They are so happy. Supertunia Vista Jazzberry just climbing over the fence, just like it's no big deal. Let's look around the other side here. Yep, just kind of poofing through. Look at that. I love how this combination turned out, because the centerpiece, which is a Carolee Petite Gara, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know if it would hold up to the vigor of a Vista Supertunia in there, but it certainly has. Definitely more in this one than in this one, but you can still see it coming through. There's the Supertunia Raspberry Rush, and then a Superbena Sparkling Amethyst. It's just been such a pretty, hi Douglas, pretty mix in here, and I just love it. So no fall containers in these for a while. But let's just take a quick spin through here before we start yanking stuff. Sunflowers, most of which are spent. Let's see, do we have spider mite damage? Let me look. Usually if you see that mottled kind of look, whew. Either way, I don't see any webbing or anything like that. Doesn't mean they're not there. Anyway, they're looking weary, so we're gonna take those out. We'll take these tomatoes. Now, if I come across, you can see all these green ones, which I could definitely ripen inside, but the pigs will benefit from these. If there are some, which there are, that are ripe on the interior of the plant, I might take those in and try them. But the last several tomatoes that I have harvested have had that weird flavor. We're gonna take this container out. Maybe we'll have some time to get that planted up with something simple. This is one cherry tomato plant with sun sugar. My goodness. I'll leave some things, like the bachelor's buttons look really pretty. There's carrots that I've still been harvesting off of, so I'll probably leave those. We've got some Oregon sugar pod peas and some didiscus in here, which is actually going to do something, which is fun. So we'll leave some stuff alone in here. Spinach, looks like we actually had some leaf miner damage in here. See that? See those like tracks in the leaf, like little caterpillars that get in there? I haven't been out here spraying or anything, but the chickens will get these. And over here are some peppers, which I might leave. I'm not sure. We might just harvest and then pull the plants. Like, look at this. This basil needs to be, it's been broken, I think, off at the base. Yeah. So that needs to be pulled. Cosmos are looking beautiful. Got a couple of different varieties in here. Look at how cute those are. And this is one of my favorites right here. What kind is that? These are Xanthos, Xanthos. You can get the seeds from Botanical Interests, and I just love them. And this is Xenia, Xsenia, And I think that those are really pretty. They kind of have an apricot glow ring right around in there. Okay, and then the cantaloupe, just real big, need to come out so I can get to the blackberry and groom that poor plant. We cut the clematis that's looking sad all the way back. We've got some wild rose canes. We just need to spend some time in here. I think I need to replace that boxwood. It looks like the drip maybe malfunctioned. So we've got our work cut out. I've got my gloves, my Falcos. I'm gonna go grab a pop-up bag, and then I'm gonna just dump everything in the gator, and then it's all going to Paul's truck so I can go out to Bethany's pig. So that is the order of this morning, and you guys, it's beautiful. You can see it's kind of overcast. It's 8 a.m. right now, and it's cool and just wonderful. So here we go. Well, that is my job done for the day. We got a ton cleared out. Oh my goodness, look at this space. You can actually see the raised beds now, which I kind of like. After a summer of abundance, it's kind of nice to see it looking tidy. Got the container planted just very simply, and I chose a color of pansy that could go straight into winter. So we've got a Cedar Rapids Chamaecyparis right here, which actually gets quite large. I'm gonna look it up, but I wanna say it gets like 30 feet tall, so it can't stay in that container forever, but for a while. Hold on, let me see. Cedar Rapids, 30 feet tall by 12 to 15 foot spread. This one is new for 2024, and I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I've got a few of them in the high tunnel that I think we might pop out in the new property because, you know, they can get as big as they want out there. What zone are they? Zone 4 through 8. But I love that the foliage is a little bit brighter. I was a little worried that it wouldn't set apart from the North Pole arbs back behind it, but you can absolutely see it easily. And they're just so soft. And I love that ferny texture, especially with the white pansies. There's just something so peaceful about that. And you'll notice that I did leave the drip flopped out the back side of this container. I've got to replace this run right here because only I think one of them was dripping. It was actually very interesting this morning because the drip was running when I started this project. And even though we replaced the drip system in most of these raised beds mid-season, so not even, I don't know, 2 months ago, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 months ago. I don't know, not very long. A lot of these 1/4 inch drip tubes were already plugged. I mean, this is a really good example. I replaced these probably end of June. So what is that, July, August, September? Yeah, 3 months ago. But I used a 1/2 inch supply line, like a header line, and then came off of it with the 1/4 inch drip tube. And you'll notice like this is super wet. And then it gets really dry toward the end. And these were getting barely anything at all. They're all so plugged up already, which is so unfortunate. Same thing in this bed. This side was all wet, except for it did go the full distance. And this side was dry. Same here. Look at that, just dry as a bone. And those pepper plants were still producing, which is amazing to me. And then same thing in here. Oh, they're cutting a stone. There's a couple times this morning that I'd hear that sound, but I was just busy working it. And then like a cloud of dust, stone dust would kind of make its way over here. And all of a sudden I think, is there a fire? All of a sudden it got really smoky, seemingly smoky. All right. And then in this bed right here, no wonder the lettuce didn't come up on this side. This drip tube on this side is just not working. I did decide instead of pulling the spinach out altogether, I just cut it off, just trimmed it, and it will produce new leaves. It'll take it a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that with the cooling days, but it is a cold season crop, so it will flush back. This raised bed I didn't have to do anything to. I think this one looks so sweet. I don't know why, it just does. And then I did tame the rows just a little bit, just enough to where we could walk through it and I could walk on either side of it without being snagged. But it really is pretty and there are buds everywhere on these roses, so I didn't want to cut too much. I accidentally cut one bud off. Aren't they just the most gorgeous rose? The cucumber has been cleaned and we got so many cucumbers off of it. We'll take a closer look. You probably just saw. I've got one basket full of cucumbers that I will disperse among family and friends, and then one that will be given to the chickens over the course of several days. Oh, hello, Douglas. Made your way out. I think he's been napping under the arbs. Hey, bud. Wish you guys could hear his purr. It's so loud. Also, I realized, and see, this is why I kind of wanted to get these vine crops out, but the blackberries are producing. And I didn't see them because there was so many leaves from the cucumber over here. And I was able to eat all of these. They were so tasty. These aren't quite ready yet. I left the carrots alone and the bachelor's buttons because those are just so pretty. The color there, oh, they're just gorgeous. I'm gonna have to get a shovel to get the sun sugar stump out. And then there's a look at the container from this angle. Isn't that just so sweet? I just love it. And here's our haul from today. So I did save a few of the cantaloupe. That's our Tuscany melon is the variety here. A few of these I think we can eat now, and then I'm just gonna set them on the counter and let them ripen further. And this is the basket of cucumbers for the chickens. So I just cut them in half lengthwise and just lay them with the seeds side up. And the chickens love them. And then these look really good. Like, look at these, gorgeous. Su Yao Long is the variety here. So these are the good ones we'll keep. And then peppers that I harvested off the green bell that we had up here. I left the cosmos alone and the kale that has come up in this bed. And then I did decide to leave this melon because this plant looks still pretty good and it's out of the way. I did cut a bunch of it back so that we could walk. There are a bunch of melons still on this vine, so I'm excited. I think we'll still get quite a lot of production out of this one yet this season. And there was all kinds of flim flam going on underneath this vine crop. I mean, there was a melon up in the hydrangea standard, just like chilling. Hanging there. There was melons up in the blackberries. They had gone through, of course, the fence in front, and there were melons all over in there. And there's some kind of little varmint that had created a hole. It looks like a gopher mound, kind of like a small one. Look at that. So one of my melon hills was right here. You can see the drip emitters right here. So this is where the roots were. And this, so it was hiding all of this. There's like the mound of fresh soil that had been kicked up from something that made this hole right here. That is not big enough to be a gopher hole. Gopher holes are usually about, I don't know, 4 times that big, maybe 3 to 4 times that big. So I don't know what that is. And it seems kind of fresh. So both the cats were fairly interested in what was going on over here. I also discovered that the drip plugged in this blackberry pot. So those two are doing great. This one is still alive, so I think it will be okay. I'm just gonna get it nicely watered today. And then I've got to replace drip in this container, the boxwood container, and the container in the center. Here's a look from this side. Oh, it just feels like I can breathe in this space again. Oh, I love it. And it's ready to go for garlic. You know, here we are in October, and sometimes I've got it planted in September, so I don't want to, like, time to get away from me, and I don't want to miss my planting window. So to have them all cleared out and ready to go, that's perfect. And those tomatoes, you guys, like, there was a tremendous amount of tomatoes on those plants. I swear, not trimming your tomatoes gives you the most amount if you've got the space to let them go. But this smell, they had definitely turned. And I discovered also that the basil had not been cracked. I thought it had been. I think it just got nipped in one of our cooler nights, and it hasn't been super close to freezing, but I think it was cold enough to maybe take it. So anyway, feels good to have this done. So now let's take a look at what Pedro and his crew have been up to. All right, guys, Pedro and his crew just left, and I'm really anxious to go see how the pathway is shaping up. Oh my goodness. Looks like they have over half of it done. Whoa. Oh, look at this. Look at how beautiful it is. Oh my gosh. It's perfect. And you guys, the stone is darker, just like with the pavers around the pond. When they cut, which they've been cutting the edges so that it kind of, you know, keeps that formal edge, it just puts rock dust everywhere. So that's why they have that white layer. In fact, the bricks have a white layer. Everything kind of does. And we're gonna have to get in there and probably clean pretty good. Don't they just do a beautiful job? So what they've done is a very gradual flare so that it matches the opening of the bricks right here, which I think is close to, I don't know if it's 6 or a little over 6 feet, but then it narrows down to 5 feet. And that's what we wanted the bulk of the walkway to be, is 5 feet. Now today, they haven't worried too much about leveling. They just want to get all of the pieces kind of in place, and then they go back through and pack everything down and level all the rocks before they put sand in. So let's just take a walk down here, because I want to look at it from the other side as well. See how they put this really flexible PVC in, and they put in some little pins that kind of hold it in place right where they want it, so they have a guide. Oh my word. Okay, I did notice earlier they must have found these great big pieces in the pallet, but look at those. Those are enormous. Like, there's my foot. Look how huge that rock is. Those are great entry rocks though. So what they'll do is they'll cut right here so that that one will fit right down. Oh, and look at that curve. Just a nice gentle curve leading you to the house. Oh, this is so exciting, because once this is done and in, we can determine exactly how big of a piece of grass we want, and we can start thinking about what we want to do along the pathway and how we want to kind of spider off from it, because we will maintain an opening to the fireplace area right here. But look how much bigger my flower beds just got from right here all the way to the walkway. And same for this area here. You know, we've got tons of hellebores in here, but we've got that much more space to come out and do some really fun stuff. And this will be much more sun loving right out here than it is in here. Now, a couple of other things that may or may not happen. I don't know. This locust tree has been limping along. That might come out. If that comes out, this lilac's probably going to come out, which might mean a complete redesign right here. Possibly a potager, because it's right by the kitchen. Have like a formal herb garden slash like small vegetables. Because you know, if we don't have the tree here and the lilac here, it's going to be a sunny spot. So it'll get plenty of sun for the type of crops that I'd want to grow in herbs. And that'd look really fun to have a very formal area around the Hartley. And then this is going to be very informal on either side of the walkway, more cottagey. And then have another little spot of formal right over here. That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I haven't really fleshed that idea out. And I really don't want to lose that tree. So I'm hoping everything pulls through and I don't have to execute on that idea. But we'll see how it goes. In gardening, you just have to learn how to be flexible because things go wrong when you're dealing with plants and you're dealing with nature and climate and you cannot control weather and that sort of thing. You just never know exactly what's going to happen. So I don't know, throughout the years of doing this, I used to get super bummed, like when a hailstorm would come through or, you know, if we'd lose a great big tree in a windstorm or something like that. And now I kind of take things in more of a, I don't know, stride. It's a little bit easier to get through just knowing that, you know, it's just an opportunity for something else. So I'm trying to think of real fun ideas to do in this space should we have to lose that tree, because that is kind of a tragedy. Anyway, I'm super happy with this. We will have to, now that I'm thinking about it, so we'll come off this way, not with a formal pathway, probably just individual flagstones, kind of like how you see those little round ones there, to the fireplace. We might need to do something much the same, probably in the same area so that they connect, but something that gets you over to this grass and then you can go over that way. So we'll have to remember that and keep that in mind when we are figuring out what plants we want to put in here. And really the beauty of this whole thing, like timing wise, is that we really don't have a whole lot of time to get a bunch of stuff in the ground. So I'll have a good portion of the winter to think about what we want to do in this space. Erin and I will be able to talk through some ideas and kind of get it all hammered out hopefully by next spring. Anyway guys, that is it for today. What a great day. So productive. I just walked back through the vegetable garden and it just feels so good to see some open spaces, and I'm gonna get ready here to plant garlic soon. So that might be one of the next things that we do. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and we will see you in the next video. Bye.